They're done. They're done.
I must be talking about hockey.
Yeah, man, hockey. That's where it's at. That's what I'm wearing.
People watch hockey?
Shirt.
The toughest trophy to win in all sports.
It is.
And it's not even close.
What?
It's the toughest trophy.
Really?
Let's start the show, Alex, because they're talking crazy.
You can hate on hockey.
This whole bottom row down here, drug test all three of them. I just want to put that out there.
They don't.
Hardest sport. Man.
They don't take 3 days off between games like the NBA. So don't
the
even start
NFL is one game, though. Come on, you got to stop, man. It's one game.
Let Tyrone know that there was a guy named Scott Stevens that got part of his ear knocked off in the third period, taken off from a puck. Didn't miss a shift, got stitches, didn't miss a shift, and came back before the next shift. And didn't miss a shift while missing part of his ear.
With the hockey puck in the mouth and still play.
Right. Yep.
But LeBron James will roll an ankle and help you out.
But the metal midget LeBron James is so much tougher than a hockey player.
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me.
San Antonio
y'all sound like LeBron took y'all girlfriend in high school or something, man. Is that
what happened? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen,
y'all off the chain tonight. It's usually just this guy.
Welcome to the Sports Arena. What is going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson here for the Sports Arena. And yes, that is what we do. That is just classic, the crew that I've got with me tonight. So for those of y'all who may have missed it, trust me, y'all gonna get it a little bit later. But let me go ahead and officially introduce everybody, starting with my man. Say it again every Tuesday night, 8:30, Facebook Live. Check him out, my man, Mr. Ty Ray in the building.
Hey, I just want to say I'm in for a long night tonight, man, because these dudes on here, they talking crazy, man. Somebody point me in the direction of Walgreens so I can get some tests for these guys, man. They come in here talking crazy.
With that, we're going to get our girl, 806 Sports, doing her thing, talking Dallas Wings. She does the sip-off NBA carousel, Miss Megan Price. Megan, good evening. And I want to apologize for sometimes the men kind of overtaking your throne, but you are a true queen because you are just listening to the five of us like, wow. But you hold your own better than most. I will just say that to you.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead and get my brother, Florida Sun Review and Fantasy and Flavors, Mr. Alex Fleming. Good evening, sir. What's up? How are you?
We talking about my division.
Oh,
God.
AFC.
His division, man. Come on, stop.
AFC. So we got you. Next up, Sideline Sports. I want to welcome back our man, Mr. John Shears, in the building, repping the Carolina Hurricanes.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Alex, I got to ask you, what was your division before you became a Bucs fan?
Oh.
That would probably be the Bears. I was born and raised in Chicago. But I've been a Floridian for 14 years, so ain't like I'm, trying to be a fake or a chaser. How long have you covering the Bucs, E? How long?
You, sir, 6 seasons. Myself, only 4. So
can I ask another question? No, never mind. Go ahead.
Last but not least, let me get him in here. This is my brother, truly 12 years going strong. Mr. Mike Caratanudo, believe in the Pac-12. Mike, what's up, man?
Yeah, well, Tide needs to understand that what Stanley Cup hockey, playoff hockey is all about.
Okay, so we're not talking hockey tonight.
I know.
Y'all got it out your system earlier.
Somebody get the
we will
violin
save that for
man.
another time.
But I love it. It's good. Everything's good, man. Everything's good.
Awesome. We are going to do the AFC South tonight.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and break down these games and tell y'all how we think about this. So let's start with what I think is going to be probably the easiest team to get done here tonight on the Sports Arena, and that is the Houston Texans, the team that is just in such disarray that I'm going to just go ahead and say it. If they get 5 wins this season, they better consider that a victory. Now, I'm looking at the schedule, and I'm going to tell you right now, just looking at it, their first game is an L. Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer going to beat them week 1. It's going to be a wrap from that point on. Then they go to Cleveland. They've got a Thursday night game against Carolina. Then they go to Buffalo, New England, at Indy, at Arizona, the Rams, the Miami Dolphins in Miami. And honestly, I'll say this. If Deshaun Watson was playing, I'd go to that game because I want to see the brother, but I don't think he's going to play. We'll get to that in a moment. They've got their bye week. Then they go to Tennessee. Listen, Mama Caratuno's Jets are going to beat the Houston Texans. You heard it here first.
Yes.
Indianapolis, Seattle, at Jacksonville, the Chargers, the 49ers, and they finish with the Titans. I'm being nice here when I say 4-13. That is my record given to them this evening. But let me go to, like I said, the woman from 806 Sports, Miss Megan Price. And Megan, talk some sense into the Houston Texans right now because I just don't see it. Maybe you do.
No, I think you're being way too nice. 2-15. If that, they might beat the Jets. That's one of their possible W's. I know, but Jets gonna do Jets things. And I think they could possibly catch the Patriots because it's at home. But the rest of their schedule, L's.
All right, Megan is saying 2-15. Mike, you shaking your head because of the Jets. I know, and Mama Caratuno, but go ahead, my brother.
I told
them to win. The Jets are going to do Jets things.
I told Mama Caratuno how you were big on the Jets. You were supporting them. She was all happy because she didn't realize there was anybody out there that would support the Jets too, besides her and like 10 other people. But that being said, no, you are too generous. They're going 0-17, man. They're going 0-17. First year of 17 games. They are not winning one game. I'll tell you right now, Buffalo, they might not cross the 50-yard line. The Colts, they might not cross the 50. The Rams, they might not cross the 40. Let's see. The Dolphins will definitely beat them. Tennessee, the division game, the Jets. And then the Colts again, Jacksonville. The Chargers, they might cross midfield. The Niners, late in the season, depending how it is, they might they might score 3 points in that game. I'll give them 3. And then Green Bay, I don't care if Blake Bortles is playing quarterback, they're still not beating them. And then Tampa, of course. Oh no, that's preseason. Sorry. So Tennessee's the last game of the year. So I mean, they might go 0-20 because they're not really winning any preseason games. They're absolutely – I mean, look, the Deshaun Watson thing is terrible. We all know it. And like we talked about, Eric, if he's guilty, then yes, he shouldn't play. He's out. But quarterback-wise, they have nothing. And if he's innocent, and I'm not saying he's guilty, if he's innocent too, he doesn't want to be there. He might act like Brandon Marshall when he was trying to get out of Denver, just throwing balls 50 yards over guys' head, 10 yards, whatever. They're going 0-17, and I think there's games, especially the Rams and the Colts, Buffalo. They won't cross midfield if they're really putting their full effort in. They won't. They will not cross midfield against those teams without Deshaun Watson. It's a dumpster fire.
Wow, Mr. Fleming. As you said to start the show, this is a division that you cover thoroughly, sir. And hats off to you for the job you did with Jacksonville last season. But I mean, Deshaun Watson is a guy that both you and I have respected and we have, gone to bat for on many occasions. Now, we don't know what the outcome is of the allegations. But like Mike said, he doesn't want to be there. So Bob is gone. I know we were talking about that 2 seasons ago, and you were like, listen, it's not a matter of if, but when. And when the hammer dropped, it was praise Jesus, kumbaya, hallelujah, let's move forward.
Christmas.
Exactly. Christmas came early. But talk to me about Houston, sir.
I'm glad Bob is gone, but if anybody's ever seen that cringy Minecraft video where, the Minecraft tried to run away and, everybody's like, bring me that. Well, it's that time because if you look at the roster, they got a whole bunch of B-, C+ players and Mark Ingram at running back because their running room was horrible. I love Phillip Lindsay. I like Mark Ingram. David Johnson, not so much. But let's look at the offensive line. They beefed up the offensive line last year, which cost them the 3rd pick in the draft with Miami. They added Carson Green, and for some reason, the AFC South is enamored with players from the Big Ten. And Brevin Jordan could be a fantasy-relevant tight end if Deshaun Watson was the quarterback. Love the guy out of Miami. He's got a lot of intangibles. He moves like a wide receiver. And poor Nico Collins, all his talent is going to be wasted because, A, Davis Mills is not the answer. He might be a good quarterback in the future, but he's not a good quarterback now. B, Tyrod Taylor, when was the last time he went deep? Okay, for real. And he had a good coaching staff in Buffalo, not like this train wreck that you see in Houston. And as far as the defense is concerned, bro, Swiss cheese. They got more holes in their D than the Los Angeles Lakers. This Houston Texans squad is going to go 1-16. With the additional game, I see them pulling out one victory. I got 3 games circled. One of them being the Jets, because the Jets can't be relied on doing anything. 2, a coach against Arizona, which could be a coin flip considering who Arizona is playing the week before. And 3, the Chargers. If they lose Justin Herbert, that team goes down quick because offensively they're skilled, but defensively they can get down. The one and only thing that Houston's going to be able to do this year is run the football effectively. But other than that, they're taking a lot of L's. Sesame Street all NFL season.
This portion of the Sports Arena brought to you by the numbers 1, 16, and the letter L. Tyree, I've got 0, I've got 1, I've got 2, I've got 4. Are you gonna be my guy to give me 3 here? Talk to me, bruh.
Why are we talking about this team?
I figured it would be the easiest one to just roll through, and then we could move forward.
We giving too much relevancy to a very irrelevant team. 1-16, let's go on.
Okay.
Hey, Eric, let me just say this. J.J. Watt, I'll add to Ty. What Ty wanted to say, too, is J.J. Watt probably going to set the single-game sack record against the Texans. He will be very healthy for that. They are not beating the Redbirds. And DeAndre Hopkins is going to have 4 touchdowns.
And I like how Alex threw in teams they might beat but didn't throw in Jacksonville. Continue, Eric. Go to the next team, man. Keep it moving.
Well, speaking of Jacksonville, that in fact is the next team that we're going to, because it is. Thank you for teeing that up for me, Ty. Our man John Shear is going to join us back here in just a moment. But we are going to Jacksonville, and of course, I'm going to start with Alex on this one. But Alex, let me be real, brother. Now, again, what you do at TIAA Bank, beautiful, top to bottom. However, we have to be realistic and say the combination of Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, and the possibility of Tim Tebow may sell tickets and put butts in seats, but I am really curious to see how it's going to perform on the field. Now, the schedule, sir, but for our audience who may not, again, like I said, they get their first win in Houston against Houston. Then they've got Denver and Arizona at home, a Thursday night in Cincy, Tennessee at home. Then they go to London to play the Miami Dolphins. They have their bye week, of course. Seattle, Buffalo, Indy, San Fran, Atlanta, Rams, Tennessee. They're at Indy, at the Rams, at Tennessee. Houston, they host them. Then they go to the Jets. They go to New England, and they finish with the Colts. So as best as possible, sir, and I know you're going to give them a more positive, brighter outlook than some of the rest of us might, but please, Mr. Fleming, speak on the Jacksonville Jaguars from what you have seen between last year and this year.
Doug Marrone is a good coach, but he got fired because he wasn't producing W's. I'm glad they fired their general manager because he wasn't getting the job done and he didn't resign Jalen Ramsey, which was basically the last nail in the coffin. For those who were actually paying attention to the Jacksonville Jaguars, you can see that the offensive line was intact. They gave up 23 sacks in 16 games last year. Can anybody besides me name 2 quarterbacks on that roster last year? Two. Because everybody's going to mention Gardner Minshew. Yeah. Can you name the other 2 that started and played? I don't think so. 23 sacks, 16 games. You want to be technical, that's a sack and a half a game. I think any quarterback will take that. Well, enter in Trevor Lawrence, who's just a little bit better than Gardner Minshew, Jake Luton, or Mike Glennon. Oh, by the way, coaching matters. Coach Urban Meyer, regardless of what decisions he makes, happens to be a winning coach. He won at Utah. He won at Bowling Green. We know he won in Florida. And he won at Ohio State. So he shouldn't be questioned because you know what? This is his rookie year 2. The real tight end, Jake Frackrell, is going to be losing snaps to Tim Tebow. Now, I don't want to get into the Tebow situation because I don't believe he can play still. But you know what? Sometimes you can't get momentum from better places, from guys who've been there. He's going to be an excellent locker room presence and take away some of the heat from Trevor Lawrence. Oh, and by the way, that defense, which I spoke to you about, what I believe May 3rd, when we got to break down how the draft went down. CJ Henderson may not be the starter. He might be moved to nickel, or he might be the cover two. We don't quite know, but they did sign Kashil Griffin from Seattle, 3 years, $40 million. They fixed the defensive line so that way they can get a pass rush because they were number 32 in sacks. Oh, and by the way, Travis Etienne, he's going to lead the team in yards. This is James Robinson's show. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. He's going to lead the team in touchdown.
Man, can we get a prediction, man?
Hold on. I want to interject really quick, sir. I do not mean to interrupt, but you're saying Travis Etienne, his rookie year, is going to lead the team in yards. That is what I want to make sure I heard that correctly.
Rushing yards?
Travis Etienne is going to be a running back / slot receiver. When everybody was up in the ruckus when he was selected number 25, I was like, guys, he caught 60 passes last year out of the backfield. Imagine that man in the slot. He's a mismatch issue. Keenan Cole is gone to the Jets. You got DJ Shark, Oh, and Colin Johnson, he's a tight end in a wide receiver's body. This is all I'm saying. A lot of y'all are sleeping on the Jaguars, thinking they're not going to do anything or raise a ruckus. Travis Lawrence is a winner. Urban Meyer is a winner. James Robinson had 1,167 yards and sat 2 games. Could have broke Fred Taylor's record. All of y'all are asleep. Quote.
You right.
Sleep is right. You're right.
Hold on. I didn't catch that last part, sir. You said quote you. What was the quote?
Pay attention.
That's okay. What's the quote?
7 and 10.
All right. John Shear, welcome back. I'm going to get you, and then I will go to everybody else. John Shear, please talk to me about Jacksonville. But before you do that.
You want me to reply?
I just need your Houston. I need your Houston prediction, sir.
All right. Houston will win 2 games. There'll be division games because you don't typically get swept in the division. So they'll eke out 2 wins. Jacksonville even beat Indianapolis week 1 last year. So you can do it. And Jacksonville was a terrible team last year. So you can do it, in the division.
All right. So 2 and 15.
And I don't think
please.
Deshaun Watson plays because I think he stays on the commissioner's exempt list.
Fair enough. So talk to me about Jacksonville, sir.
My reply to Alex, or am I giving my prediction? Because there's a lot to unpack if I'm replying to Alex.
I think we all have something to quote to go back to Mr. Fleming on. So, but please give me your thoughts on Jacksonville as a whole.
See, I don't like what they're doing. I think the ETN pick was a complete waste. This is Urban Meyer's MO. I mean, Alex was saying about how Urban Meyer won everywhere, but Urban Meyer is a coward. I mean, the guys ran every time something went wrong. He bolted out the door. He's trying to create what he had in college. This is the NFL. ETN was a mismatch in college. This is the NFL. You're not going to go up against, the top corners in the world and think you're going to outmatch him being a running back. You're not Le'Veon Bell. I'm sorry, but you're not. Well, that's one of the only running backs that are going to line up in the slot and mismatch with the cornerback. It's not happening with Travis Etienne. You waste your 25th overall pick. When you're a bad team running receiver, now you're trying Tim Tebow. I don't know, to take pressure. Trevor Lawrence, so that you got to focus on Tebow. I don't know what you're trying to do. Tim Tebow's not going to do anything. I mean, what's Urban Meyer really trying to do? Travis Etienne, Tim Tebow. I mean, I like, obviously, the Lawrence pick, but, I mean, come on. Urban Meyer, man, I just don't buy him. He's a college coach in the NFL world, just like Nick Saban was, and it's not going to work.
All right, so what's your record for Jacksonville, John?
And Michael Cartenuto he's going crazy right there. Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to get to Mike in a minute, John, go ahead.
I'm going to give him 4 wins. I mean, at best. What? It's not a great roster. The defense isn't great. The line's okay. I mean, the receivers, you can talk about Chark, but I mean, has he proven it whenever it really matters? Has anybody on that roster really proven it when it really matters? I'm not giving them more than 4 wins until you show me. Has Urban Meyer ever coached in the NFL? No. He has no idea what he's doing. This isn't college. This is the big boys league. So they'll get 4 wins if they're lucky. If they're lucky, they'll salvage some off the Texans. That's
Mr. Caratanudo, you're patiently waiting, but you're sitting on your hands. I know you're ready, so go ahead, my brother.
All right. The one person I don't really have much to say because Alex gave us the whole team, but the one person he didn't mention is Miles Jack, who should be back very healthy, who we forget is an inadvertent BS whistle away against the Patriots from taking it to the house, and Jacksonville would have been playing Philly Super Bowl, but no, they blew the whistle because it's the Patriots. But I'm not gonna get started on that because Miles Jack was gone. He's healthy. I'm with again. I like Alex's optimism. Travis Etienne, John, was a solid pick. The kid came back. He would have been probably a first-round pick, depending how people feel about running backs last year, had he came out. But he wanted to get better as a receiver. Like Dabo Sweeney said, this kid came back to be a good receiver out of the backfield. Like Alex said, you put him in the slot, he could lead the team in yards. I'm not going to say 7 wins. I'm going 1 less. I'm going 6 because I like how they're constructing lineup. Yes, I'm not the biggest Urban Meyer fan. We guess what he did at Utah and Bowling Green and Florida and Ohio State speaks for itself. He did get booted out of Ohio State, though, John, because some of the stuff was his fault. So I wouldn't say he was running away there. He was very standoffish about it. But, look, he can win. And look, I don't even think Tebow's going to be on the roster. If he is and he's catching passes, good for him. But I say 6 wins. And again, the defense the last few years, I mean, you look at all they lost on defense alone the last few years. And yes, I do blame the general manager. And when Alex said he deserved to get fired, but you let Jalen Ramsey go. He says he's unhappy. You need to make him happy. I mean, that is one guy that I want on my team shutting every top receiver down. So I think they get 6 wins. Again, offensively, it will be a struggle. I could see him getting off to maybe a somewhat hot start because there's college film on Trevor Lawrence, but not running Urban Meyer's offense. They get off to a pretty good start. So I say 6 wins. I would say caveat maybe up to 8, but I wouldn't go higher than that.
All right, fair enough. I want to give a quick shout.
Let everybody else go first, sir.
Trent Balk, the former general manager of the San Francisco 49ers, is now the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So before you say something that comes out of your lips, realize that we're rebuilding the right way.
What does that have to do with anything?
Urban Meyer's the GM, just so you know.
Hold on. I want to show love to one of our guys here tonight chiming in. He's got a show on Thursday that actually does cover this specific division. So shout out to Mr. Mike Patton. He is saying Jacksonville doesn't have anybody at the tight end, and Jack, referring to Miles Jack, has to prove to be a leader. In his opinion now, he said the pick of ATN wasn't needed. So we'll see how it goes. But I wanted to show him some love. He was John enough to join us here tonight in the Sports Arena. This man does a show on Thursday, particularly covering the AFC South. So just wanted to give the man his time. So, Ty, go ahead, sir. And then I'm going to end, of course, with our girl, Miss Megan Price. But, Ty, talk to me about Jacksonville, sir.
This guy, Alex Fleming, man. I don't know about him. This is what I got, and I'm going to read it off for you, man. Let's see. Houston, week 1, that's a win. Broncos, week 2, I think that's a win. So I think they'll open up 2-0. This is where it goes downhill. Arizona, loss. I think they'll beat Cincinnati. So I think they'll be 3-1 going into week 5.
Wait, Ty, but that's a short week. And they're going to Cincinnati.
Thursday night game. They lost that game last year in Cincinnati.
It's the Bungles.
Listen.
With no offensive line.
Burrow won't be there.
I agree.
Joe Burrow won't be there. So.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ty. Please continue.
So I got them 3-1 going into the Tennessee game. Lost to Tennessee, lost to Miami. They're going to bye. Lost to Russ and them. Lost to Buffalo. Lost to Indianapolis. Of course, a loss in week 11. I mean, there's no other way you could chalk that up to the 49ers. Atlanta, I think that's a loss too. The Rams lost. Tennessee lost. Houston win. Jets win. So I got them at 5-12. Sound about right? Okay, cool. Next person.
Mike, I'm with you, bro. I don't understand what all this hate for the
Dude,
Jets
Robert,
is.
where did Rob? Wait, Alex is just talking about where the GM came from San Francisco. Salah came from San Francisco too. They're going to be a lot tougher.
Mike. Didn't you say 6 wins? What's different from 5 to 6?
1.
No, but the Jets. Everybody's picking on the Jets.
I
I'm
know.
not talking about that. Stop picking on the damn Jets.
Miss Megan Price, please talk to us about this Jacksonville Jaguars team.
I actually really agree with Tyree's breakdown. I'm also going 5-12. I definitely think they're beating the Texans. I definitely think they're beating the Broncos. They're most definitely, if anything in life is real, they're beating the Bungles. And then I have them beating the Texans again in Week 15. Maybe the Jets. I don't know. And I don't know how I feel about the Patriots this year. But I'm still going to say 5-12 safely. And they have a possible 6-11, but 5-12 for sure.
Hey guys,
honestly,
West Coast teams don't do good on the East Coast. Guess where that game against San Francisco was at?
It doesn't matter if it's in Antarctica. Lost.
Hey,
okay.
They have been. You're right, Alex. But Seattle has gone west to east and destroyed people. I'm just going to say.
No. See, when they come off of the bye week, that game against Seattle is in Seattle. But
no. I know. I'm saying in general. In
general, yes. San Fran is going to have a tough divisional game before they travel all the way East Coast and play a 1:00 game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Guys, on this day, what's today? May 15th? May 16th? What's today? I don't know.
May 17th.
Circle it.
So I have a question.
We smoking on that Jacksonville loaf that night.
I have a question. So Jacksonville was the worst team in the league this past season, and they add Trevor Lawrence, who's a rookie, and they add Travis Etienne, who's a rookie, and a head coach who's a rookie who's never coached in the NFL, and they're going to jump all the way up to 6 wins when they were the worst team in the NFL.
You're not really saying the line.
Which means they were probably the worst roster in the NFL. So that's really going to make that big of a difference with all these rookies that have never played in the NFL?
The line, sir. They added Cisco, a ball hawk rookie out of Syracuse. Because
I thought you was talking about the dude from Drew Hill.
They added corners from multiple teams, plus Rasheal Griffin from Seattle. 3 years, $40 million. Already done told you this. They bolstered the offensive line that was already good, which you said yourself was decent. They added a pass rush so that way they won't be last in sacks in the NFL. Last but not least, coaching matters. 7-10.
Alex, can I ask you a question?
Hold on. No, ladies and gentlemen.
Has not coached in the NFL. Like, I think that is very important. And we sit here talking about Tim Tebow, somebody who was one of the greatest at his position in college and did not translate to the NFL. It didn't happen. And it's not going to happen this year. And I don't know if it's going to happen for Urban.
No, I think he'll be all right. I didn't know.
Let me say this, because we do have to move on, because this Jacksonville conversation could take up the rest of the night. When I look at this, it could. When I look at this team, here is what I see. I see, as Alex said, a rebuilding team. The one thing I will always say is divisional play, anything is possible. They could get got by one of those divisional teams. Mike, you could shake your head all day long. But how many times have we seen quarterbacks who we thought would just get ran over, who have actually come out and proven they are worth their salt? Now, if this is a ploy by bringing in Tim Tebow to just sell tickets and put butts in seats, that's fine. But Alex made the one comment that we cannot ignore. It's taking pressure off Trevor Lawrence. It's allowing him to go out there and simply do what he is great at. Now, he might not be great on the NFL level because we don't know. But on the college level, you can't ignore what that young man produced. You cannot ignore that. You can deny it all you want, but the facts are the facts. You bring in a college coach transitioning to the NFL. He knows how to work with these players. That's what he did aside from the X's and O's. He groomed them to be in the NFL. And now he's got a guy that he plucked and said, okay, now I'm going to groom you. Much like Cliff Kingsbury did with Kyler Murray. Sure. So it is fair to say that, listen, 4, 5, 6 wins is possible. I thought I would be the only person on here I thought Alex was going to go higher. I really did. Alex, I thought you were going to go at least 9-8 because you know the team better than I. But I am agreeing with Mr. Fleming in saying when I look at this team and I look at the building blocks, I have to say at least 7 wins. I do. Because I believe Jacksonville is going to surprise people with the changes that they made. And to Mike's point, if Miles Jack is 100%, quarterbacks are on their backside. Ain't no question about that. So I'm agreeing with Mr. Fleming and saying 7-10. We are going to take a really quick break. When we come back, I am going to do something I haven't done in probably a year. I am going to show love to my former quarterback and tell you why I think this team is going to be a true contender in the AFC. More with the Sports Arena when we come back.
Connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
At Fusion Sport, we're all about driving human performance. We develop and support a range of technologies all designed to assist people to be their best. SmarterBase is used by hundreds of elite sporting organisations across the globe, and more recently has been used by the military and performing arts as well.
Our SmarterBase technology has at the heart of it an integrated and connected philosophy. What's different about SmarterBase is that it's truly flexible and self-engineerable. That really puts the power into our customers' hands, and it allows them to use it in unique ways that perhaps we haven't even thought of.
Between ourselves and the rest of the field, but here comes Jemmy Stone.
Welcome back to the Sports Arena. Your man, Eric Wilson, alongside the entire crew. And let me get them all back in here. I've got, of course, my man, Tyree. Say what, say it again. Our girl, Megan Price from 806 Sports, Florida Sun Review. And as he calls himself, the football professor, Mr. Alex Fleming, Sideline Sports Network, Mr. John Shear. And, of course, Believe in the Pac-12, Mr. Michael Carrot-Snudo. All right, here we go. You might want to make sure that it is recorded. So y'all going to have to call me on this one if it does not come to fruition. But I truly do believe that the Indianapolis Colts have the position to actually win this division for the simple fact that Carson Wentz and Frank Wright are reunited, and it feels so good for them. Not for me, but for them. Listen, Indianapolis's defense last season proved to be a lethal threat in the entire NFL. There was something we couldn't sleep on. All right. But you had to factor in that at the quarterback position, there was just something missing. All right. When you guys got Naheem Hines, you've got, T.Y. I mean, this team was a few pieces from really elevating themselves. And when I look at Indianapolis, I have to tip my hat to Jim Irsay and say, the man knows how to run a franchise because he puts people who are smarter than him in position to get the job done. This team has had a winning culture since Peyton Manning. And I think now you're adding in Carson Wentz, a young man who is he had to get out of Philly. All right. There was just too much going on in there that I don't think was mentally and emotionally prepared for. And maybe he was, but the durability seemed to run out. When I look at this team right now, and let's start off with they face opening weekend against Russell Wilson. Carson Wentz could set the stage by doing something he's never done. Both times he's played Seattle, he has suffered some type of injury. Now he has an opportunity on a brand new team with, mind you, a guy who he believes actually trusts him and his ability, and he doesn't have to constantly be looking over his shoulder at the backup. No disrespect to Jacoby Brissett if he's still there, but I mean, listen, it is what it is. Carson's the dude. If Indianapolis beats Seattle week 1, they are going to ride themselves into an AFC South crown. Then they've got the Rams. The first 2 games that Carson Wentz plays in Lucas Oil Stadium are against teams that have beaten him and have caused the team that he was playing for to not move forward. He rights those ships potentially. Plus, he's got everybody in Lucas Oil just cheering for him because they've wanted him. So then you've got to go to Tennessee, your first true divisional opponent. I think that defense is going to take care of Derrick Henry. They go to Miami Monday night against Baltimore. Then they've got Houston. They go to San Fran, Tennessee. They play the Jets on Thursday night. Then they go to they host Jacksonville. Then they go to Buffalo. That's the game. Alex, we were talking about circling. November 21st, Indianapolis at Buffalo. Carson ain't afraid to play in the cold. I want to see what he does against that Bills defense. Then they've got Tampa Bay at Houston. Then they've got their bye. Then they've got New England at Arizona. They host the Raiders, and they finish in Jacksonville. When I look at this squad, I'm going to be very simple with y'all. If the offensive line protects Carson and Wentz, that team will get 12 wins. I'm saying if Carson Wentz stays healthy and that offensive line protects him, he's going to right a lot of wrongs and make a lot of media members eat a lot of humble pie, and they go 12-5. John Shear, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, first of all, the Rams did not stop Carson Wentz's team from moving forward. They actually helped them because they knocked out Carson Wentz, and then the better quarterback, Nick Foles, got him to a Super Bowl, and they won it. So there's that. You're wrong about that.
Better quarterback, yeah, okay.
Carson Wentz isn't a good quarterback. He has one season over 3,000 yards. I think one season of 30 touchdown, 10-game stretch. It was the only time he was good in his career. It was a 13-game stretch where he was MVP. He hasn't done anything else in his career. Nick Foles, he had to watch out for Nick Foles. I mean, Nick Foles is a terrible quarterback. He just had some hot runs. Anyway, yeah, they'll probably win 12 games.
John, what you ain't gonna do on this show is disrespect my Super Bowl quarterback, Nick Foles. Okay? You gonna just slide by.
Eli Manning run, and that's about the best part of his career. That and throwing 7 touchdowns randomly in a game.
Go ahead.
That was the best part of his career. I mean, look where he's at in Chicago. Anyway, we're not going to dwell on, the backup quarterback, Nick Foles. Yeah, they were probably going to win 12 games. But that's because the defense, the amazing coaching staff that they got, the offensive line, the running game. They got a great roster, an amazing roster, one of the best in the NFL. And so they're going to win despite Carson Wentz, not because Carson Wentz. Let's not get that wrong. Let's not give him the credit for the 12 wins. They're going to win despite him. He's a game manager. He's going to be there. Philip Rivers actually is a better option than Carson Wentz is there. Philip Rivers was actually really good last year for them. And they almost beat Buffalo, who Alex is all over. He loves his Buffalo Bills. They almost beat the Bills in Buffalo last year. They were this close. So let's not downgrade how good of a season Philip Rivers and that team had. Carson Wentz is a step back at quarterback. They actually got better roster-wise. I mean, somehow this roster got better. I have no idea how, but they did. I mean, you're right. Jim Irsay and company just keep, doing great things. Aside from adding Carson Wentz, they've done everything perfect this offseason. Wentz is not a good quarterback. Look at his stats. One season over 3,000 yards. That's it.
So let me ask you a question. Did he even have a receiver that went for over 600 yards last year?
Who, the Colts?
Who are you asking?
I'm talking about the Eagles. Because you talking about he's so terrible. Did he have a receiver that went for over 600 yards last year?
Yes.
Did Travis Fulgham? Was it Fulgham went over 600 yards? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fulgham.
Travis Fulgham 539 yards.
Okay, close.
So I'm asking you again. Did he have a receiver that go for over 600 yards?
All right. So the answer is no.
Safety blanket.
Now we've seen good receivers go for over 1,000 yards with terrible quarterbacks, right?
Yes.
Have we not? Yes, we have, right?
Yeah, we have.
So how is he so terrible? He had no weapons.
Oh no!
He's been in the league for what, 5 years?
But nobody went over 600 yards.
He's been in the league 5 years. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with David Patton.
Man.
The offensive line got killed.
All right, gentlemen.
Y'all are terrible,
John,
man.
I appreciate your soliloquy, but I need your you're saying 12-5 because of the Colts defense. That's what you're saying?
Because of the roster's amazing, that they'll probably win 12 games. Yeah.
So what you're saying is 52 out of the 53-man roster are going to be the reason that the Colts go 12-5.
Yep.
That's what you're saying.
And Jacoby Brissett's a backup in Miami, just so you know, not on the Colts.
Okay, I wasn't sure, but thank you. All right. Before I let Alex and Mike go, and Ty, I want to get you too. Can we please hear from Megan about this? Because I'm loving the facial expressions, Megan. But go ahead. Please talk to me about
They're just talking crazy tonight.
My face tells no lies. I have to agree that I think they are going to go 12-5 with you, but there's an integral piece that someone in the comment section, Mike, is bringing up. Because I don't think Carson Wentz is going to stay healthy. I think he's going to stay healthy majority of the season, but I don't think he's going to finish the season healthy. His backup is Sam Ehlinger from UT.
Texas.
You know? And so I feel like that's an integral piece right there that you got to bring up. Now, he's not the most successful college quarterback out there, no. But he has played on a big stage, and I do think that he can be a solid backup. And the thing for me about Indianapolis is they kind of remind me of Washington. They're a very complete team except for the quarterback position. So, I think they're dangerous, and 12-5 is very solid. I think maybe 11-6, but I think 12-5.
All right. So, John, you, Megan, and I are going to take a break from this because I'm going to let Mike, Ty, and Alex have their moment since they want to
before you send me off. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, so it's possible.
Here we go. Oh, my God. I get so sick of this.
Ty, Alex, Mike, I'll let the three of you. At some point, gentlemen, I am going to come back and need your record, but apparently the three of you want to do this, so please have fun.
No, I just want to disagree with John because Alex, we made the point last year about their offensive line. Like, we all know what their defense is and became. Their offensive line is solid. Like, thank you. And look, it pains me to compliment anything a Philadelphia Eagle did, but Carson Wentz healthy. And Ty, thank you for that point, because I was going to say he didn't have a receiver over 700 yards, and he didn't even have a receiver over 6. The Eagles line got him killed. When Carson Wentz is healthy, he's athletic enough to I'm not saying he's sprinting down the field scoring 60-yard touchdowns, but again, he is an athletic upgrade from Phillip Rivers. And Phillip Rivers, look, we were hard on him coming into the season last year. He did perform very well. I mean, yes, they were close in Buffalo, but Buffalo's defense inevitably is too much in the end. But when you look at this Colts team this year, the roster's there. They have too much. I like the receiver, that kid they took out of SMU, Granson. And I think they got a steal in Sean Davis out of Florida. I'm not saying he's going to be like an all-pro safety, but I think with that defense,
he's good.
And you can work people in. He doesn't have to be that right away, and he gets to work in with a great defense like that. So look, they drafted well. Again, and it will come to Carson Wentz's health. We know that, but I'm not going to sit there and say if he's healthy because. Yes, it was a few years back, but when he went down in the Rams game, I mean, they were still talking about him for MVP. I mean, he was in the MVP conversation because of what he was doing. So, look, I like what they did. Yes, he is the wild card to me, but with Frank Reich, that offensive line, Come on, I think the three of us can rotate playing quarterback, and we could take him to a 12-5 record.
Hey, Mike,
but this is my go ahead.
Knowledge real quick. Real talk. Offensive line, I'm not going to waste my time debating anybody on the show with. They have the best offensive line in football, bar none, period. And they added Eric Fisher. Gone. Let's not talk about that. Defense. They were scary last year. They got better on defense. Right. Darius Leonard, for some odd reason, isn't in the MVP conversation, but he only did better his second year than his first year. Oh, and thank you for mentioning Sean Davis, that pit bull safety out of Florida, which they didn't need, but they got anyway. Oh, and by the way, Jonathan Taylor, great young man, met him at the 2020 Combine. He got plenty of tread in the tires to go with Jordan Wilkins and Nean Hines, so you don't have to worry about the running game. Michael Pittman, USC, T.Y. Hilton, you already know. Mo Alley Cox, plus they still got Doyle. Everything is fine except for that bum at quarterback. The guy that plays hero ball in Philly, the guy that constantly get hurt, and the same guy who couldn't do anything with those weapons that Tyree was talking about last year, yet James and beat up on those new Orleans. The question in Indianapolis is Carson Wentz, point blank, period. If he stays healthy, I see them going 13-4. If he's a bum, they still win the division at 11-6.
So let me ask you a question. Now you stats and all this, whatever, all that trash. Give me another quarterback that didn't have a receiver that didn't go over 600 yards and didn't have a running back that didn't go over 900 yards. I mean, they
had multiple wide receivers.
I didn't say that. Listen to me.
Called trash.
Okay.
You're going off of emotion. I'm going off of facts.
Listen to what I'm saying. No, that's not facts. Okay, well, listen. If you ready to listen, or you gonna talk?
I'm pulling a tie.
Are you ready to listen, or are you going to talk? Which one are you going to do?
You know, this isn't the 3-point conversion. You actually need facts in here.
They didn't have a running back to go over 900 yards last year. So stop saying they had multiple running backs.
Gentlemen,
they didn't.
Let me go ahead. I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate all the love for Philly, especially coming from my man Mike. Let me just say this: when we get to the NFC East, I'm gonna put all y'all to shame because you know that's my team. I'm gonna let y'all have your moment. Alex, you said if he's healthy, 13-4. If not, 11-6. So are you saying 12-5 as your prediction, or which way are you going, sir?
If Carson Wentz can stay healthy, they're going to win despite of him. All he needs to do is be a game manager. We don't need to mention the defense. Are we going to have an argument about the offensive line? And he's got weapons all around him. And just like Megan pointed out, for those who don't watch Big 12 football, Sam Ehlinger is a baller. That man can run, and he's got an arm. They can win with or without.
But I need your prediction, and then I'm going to go to Ty. What is your prediction?
Healthy Carson Wentz, 13-4. Typical Carson Wentz, they still win the division at 11-6.
So I'm just going to put you down for 12-5 because you can't give me either or. You got to give me one or the other. I will meet you in the middle.
13-4.
Okay, 13-4 is what I got. Now, to answer Ty's point, and Ty, I thank you for supporting the Philadelphia Eagles right now. I do.
I did too.
I said that, Mike. But I think this is the point that Ty was trying to make. It was the simple fact that no one gave Alex, you've said it on this show. The wide receivers for the Philadelphia Eagles are a bunch of midgets. You have said that, sir. So therefore, in some regards, you can't ask a quarterback who may not have the mental durability. He may not. You can't ask him to go out there and work with what he's got and expect him still to produce. The stats are the stats. Did not have a wide receiver go over 600 yards. Did not have a running back go over 900 yards.
That's a fact.
So therefore, that is only going to translate into this team needs to make changes and adjustments. Now, listen, this is my team, and I'm not going to sit here and run the rest of this show talking Philadelphia because we still got the rest of Indianapolis, and of course, we've got Tennessee to talk about. But what I will say to you is simply this. I will always defend my team, but you all also know me well enough to know I'll be the first one to go in on. When I look at Philadelphia last year, here is what I will say. And then, Mike, I need your prediction. Ty, I need your prediction. And we're moving on from this because we've truly gone down the rabbit hole. And y'all wanted to go down it. I just had to cut it off because this is my team. Philadelphia, in this moment, this year, is going to rebuild. I fully see that. But with regards to last year, I had to take what was given to me. It's like spades. I had to play the hand I was dealt. It did not work out in my favor. I suffered a lot of sleepless nights. But Carson Wentz and Frank Wright in Indiana, whether you feel he is, as you like to call the Cleveland Browns, relevant or not, he is on a team that if he is upright, I feel like he is going to change a lot of people's opinion. Maybe not yours, but he is going to change a lot of people's opinions. We're going to move on from this. But before we go, Ty, what's your prediction? Mike, what's your prediction?
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, the offensive line keeps him upright. He's a little more athletic than Rivers, so I'm going with 12-5.
Ty?
12-5.
For me, man, I don't know, but they got a tough schedule. They play Baltimore. They play the NFC West, which is all 4 teams that everybody predicts is going to win a record. They play Miami, who I think is going to be pretty good. They also have Tennessee in their division that's pretty good. They play them twice. They play Tampa. They play Buffalo. They play New England. I mean, they got a tough schedule. I would probably say, and I think it because I think it's weird that somebody said they could go 13-4 if Carson's healthy, even though they said Carson's trash. Then they said the backup was just as good as him, which doesn't make no sense. That they can go 11-6 without him, but the backup's better than the starter. So I don't get it. I probably got them going. I think about 11-6 because they got a tough schedule, man. I mean, their schedule isn't easy. I got them 11-6.
Okay, fair enough. We're going to move on. Again, another conversation that we could truly break down, y'all. And I want to say thank you to everybody. Let me get Megan and John back in here as we get to the last team in this division. And again, thank you, everybody, for chiming in here with us on the Sports Arena tonight. Everybody, the whole entire crew's in here. So last team, it is the Tennessee Titans. If I would have told y'all, let's be real, if I would have told y'all 3 years ago that Ryan Tannehill would get arguably the top running back in the league and would be in the playoffs consistently when he moved to Tennessee, y'all probably would have said, as we say on this show, I need to be drug tested. But the fact of the matter is,
I wouldn't have.
Derek, okay, not you, John, but thank you. You can still come to the cookout. So when I look at Tennessee, I'm looking at a team and I'm asking myself, the defense has to be what needs to be fixed because we know what they can do on offense. And again, looking at their schedule, they got Arizona, then they go to Seattle. They got Indy, they got the Jets, Jacksonville, Buffalo on Monday night. I think that's going to be, when we get to Buffalo, I'm going to say Buffalo's got a lot of interesting games for me this season. But then they face Kansas City. They got to go to the Colts, go to the Rams. They've got the Saints. They've got the Texans. They go to New England. They have their bye. Jacksonville again. At Pittsburgh, San Fran 2 days before Christmas, Miami, and they finish at Houston. Ty, Tennessee Titans, King Henry. What do you think is going to happen this year?
Man, it's kind of similar to I forgot the name of the team now. I've been talking so these guys talk crazy. I think about 10 wins. I think so,
10
man.
and 7.
Their schedule's tough too. I mean, they have a tough schedule too.
All right, Miss Megan Price, what do you think for the Tennessee Titans?
I have to agree that their schedule is really tough. And this was actually the one that I did their record last just because I was so kind of shook by their schedule, not really sure which way they were going to go. Like you said, we all know what they can do offensively. I'm going to say 9-8 though. I do think they have a winning season, but I think they struggle some this year. I think the Colts are going to be a problem for them. And that first stretch right there, I even think the Jets could be a problem for them in week 4. Cardinals, possible. Seahawks, it's in Seattle. So those first 4 games are going to be really tough, I think.
All right, Mr. Fleming.
Do you mind if I give some analytics and facts? Because that's what I do.
Sure, please.
They're going to miss Corey Davis. He's now a New York Jet. I'm going to leave the offense alone, even though they never did fix that tackle position since Isaiah Wilson kind of backed up out of them. Offense is fine. Let's talk about that defense. Dory Jackson is gone. Malcolm Butler is gone. That defensive line push has never been fixed since a gentleman went to Denver. And I like the Nico Autry. I love Bud Dupree, but he's coming back off of a torn ACL. Their number 135 pick, Weaver, is kind of nice, but you can't add B- C+ players and expect to get better from one of the worst defenses of 2020. I think they're ranked number 22 out of 32 teams this year. Now, I don't care if you're in the AFC South, you need defense. And that schedule is so real. Now, whether you think analytics is truth, fact, or trash, if you have a bad defense already, and then you don't replace the people that you lost, and you draft a cornerback that's had back issues in Caleb Farley, you might just take a step back in that division. Oh, and for the young bucks who don't know their AFC South history, the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts, the last 25 times they met, Indy 20, Tennessee 5.
So
Indianapolis wins this division running away. And I agree with this price, 9-8.
But when you're 1-15 and you add a bunch of rookies, you go to 7 and what is it, 10? What is
7 and 10.
Because coaching matters. San Francisco game, circle it.
He's part of the rookie squad.
John Shear, please, sir.
Yeah, I agree actually with what everything Alex was saying. I mean, the offense should be fine. They didn't fix the offensive line, so Derrick Henry is going to have a tougher time. Ryan Tannehill needs to play action, but they don't have another weapon opposite of A.J. Brown. They lost their tight end and Jonnu Smith. So they actually got worse offensively. Defensively, they didn't do anything besides add Caleb Farley, who I think is fantastic, but he's a year away from actually being relevant because of the back injuries. I think it'll take him a year to really get his feet wet. I mean, they're going to go 9-8, but that's only because they're going to feed off the Jaguars. They're going to feed off the Texans. And they're going to get a couple wins there. But this team overall is a 7-10 roster.
Okay.
They're going to feed off the bad teams in the division, but really they're a 7-10 at best roster because that defense is terrible. And I'm surprised Alex didn't give them the Atlanta Falcons treatment. Baby Gerber, baby food, soft, whatever he said. I thought you were going to go there with them because they're like the Falcons of this South division.
They are the Falcons of the AFC South. They are.
Yeah, they don't play any defense, and they have Mike Vrabel as their coach. How do you not play defense and your defense gets worse every year? So 7-10 roster, but they're going to go 9-8 feeding off bad teams, and they won't make the playoffs.
Mike, go ahead, brother.
First of all, Mike Vrabel is their coach, and if coaching does matter, I will say this: offensively and defensively, especially when you look at a guy like Taylor Lewan, who yes was hurt, but they have a nasty streak. No matter who's playing defensive line, it could be names that none of us know. That team always plays nasty and probably is the most physical team in the division. I will give them that. I will also say that, yes, they do need to fix the defense because the last 5 weeks of this regular season, it just seemed like their defense kept taking steps back. As far as Ryan Tannehill, Eric, look, Miami never did enough to keep him upright. I'm not saying he was an all-pro, but they got him killed a lot. He ran for his life in Miami. So I'm glad he's having success in Tennessee. What I will say about their schedule, after they get done with that stretch of the Bills, the Chiefs, the Colts, and the Rams, they have the Saints, who, again, we don't know what they'll be. I'm not saying they won't be competitive, but they have the Saints, which I would look at as a win. The Texans, a win. The Patriots, all right, they got a lot of people back. They spent a lot of money. We'll see who's playing quarterback, but that exactly 50-50. That could be 4 in a row. Or that could be 3 in a row. Then you go into your bye. You come out of a bye. Then you play Jacksonville, who, okay, I'm thinking physical-wise, they can beat. And then you have Pittsburgh, who I'm not sold on anyway because you talk about offensive line issues. What have they done with their offensive line? I know we're not talking Pittsburgh yet, but when we get there, believe me, I'll have a field day. I'm just saying that's 5 games in a row before San Francisco that you can run a division game with Miami at home on this January 2nd. You can win, and you get the luxury of closing out with Houston. So I'm going to go a little higher than you guys. I'm going to say that they finish 11-6 because I have faith in what you're saying in Mike Vrabel. They are physical. Derek, I'm sorry. I didn't know all of a sudden people were going to be able to tackle Derrick Henry on the first try because all of you were making it sound like people are just going to get to the backfield and tackle Derrick Henry on the first try.
I have a question.
Ain't nobody in the league tackling Derrick Henry on the first try. When the Packers shut him down, Eric, we talked about this. When the Packers shut him down, there were 2-3 guys there constantly in that game. Because, Alex, you brought that point up, too, after that game. There were 2 or 3 guys there. There ain't no one dude that's getting to – if you get to Derrick Henry first, guess what? He's going to take his hand and he's going to shove it into the turf where it belongs.
But what about week?
I have a question.
9? What about week 1 through 9? It's
1 through 9. That's where again it gets iffy. But I'm saying they could go on a 5-game win streak that second part of the schedule because
that's part of those 5 wins. Those 5 wins you're talking about.
So
part of those 9.
Well, I'm just saying they're not going to.
So when you said their defensive line, always plays nasty, is that before or after they cut Vic Beasley? Is that before or after Jadeveon Clowney did absolutely nothing?
Right. Jadeveon Clowney did it, but he didn't do anything. But at the same time, I'm not saying the players don't buy anything.
That's a nasty defensive
line. They played for Mike Vrabel. They're going to be competitive. Really, they're better than the Bungles defense. I can name you 20 defensive lines that have names on them that aren't as good as that aren't technically sound like Tennessee's, and that comes down to coaching, hands down. They might not be the best, but
what did
they're
Alex say?
Sound.
Mike,
did you say they're 22nd on defense last year?
22nd on my power rankings. When I rank defenses from top to bottom, I have Tennessee as the 22nd ranked defense, which is still better than Atlanta. That's why I don't call them baby food soft. Bro, I don't give a damn how good your defensive line is if you got no secondary.
Right.
You got a guy who's had multiple back issues. You got rid of Adoree Jackson for some reason. Malcolm Butler's no longer with the team, and Janoris Jenkins is on his 3rd team in 3 years. Elijah Molden, you signed Elijah Molden, who's a rookie, who was getting got in the SEC. Your secondary is trash.
Hey, all I know is it is trash, and that's why I said their defense got worse each week. And Adoree Jackson, I think, checked out even before the end of the season last year, and that's on him. But I will say they'll have confidence going into the season because since we have preseason again, they play your Falcons, Alex. Then they play your Bucks, and then they play your Bears.
Falcons.
They're
not Alex's
They're
Falcons.
definitely not.
You said that sarcastically, Joe.
I know. They play your Falcons. They play your Falcons, your Bucks, and your Bears. So the Bucks won't play anybody. But I go 11-6. I go 11-6.
All right, fine. Really quick, got to show love to Mike Patton, who's been chiming in all night. He said, listen, the Tennessee Titans lost an offensive tackle last year. They played with the rotating cast, and Derrick Henry still got 2,000 rushing yards. So we're not discussing the offense, though. What we are discussing is what Alex has pointed out and everybody here has pointed out. It's been that defense. If you don't find a way to stop, for Ryan Tannehill to be on his backside, he going to find a Corey Davis. He going to find somebody to throw it to because he has the time in the world. But we know it's going to be the Derrick Henry show. So I, in good conscience, I can't go less than 9. Just because of that purpose. Because like we were saying, if Indianapolis's defense is going to be the reason the Colts go 12-5, then I have to say it's going to be because the Derrick Henry Tennessee offense that they go, I'm saying 10-7.
Yeah, because Alex and I think I texted Alex on this last year, Eric, that they obviously grind the clock down. Teams' offensive possessions against them, even teams that scored high, their possessions were way down. So I'm with you.
All right. So I'm going to put this up as soon as we finish. I know we've got plenty to talk about. Next time we get together, we are going to the NFC North. I think that's going to be probably an even better conversation than this one tonight because between Minnesota, Detroit, what's going on in Green Bay, and the new look, I'm calling it the new look Chicago Bears, I think there's going to be maybe a little bit of a shakeup, but we will see. So For Mr. John Shears, Sideline Sports Network, Michael Caratanudo, Believe in the Pac-12, Alex Fleming, Florida's Sun, Megan Price, 806, and the Sip-Off, and Ty Ray, Say What, Say It Again, your man Eric Wilson for the Sports Arena. Appreciate everybody chiming in tonight. We will talk to y'all real soon. See ya.